institutional, a gathering of people getting informed, because that's what it's about. Because if you don't know what your rights are, you don't know what you can defend. It's easy to take away what you don't even know you have. And I think that people have forgotten history, and those who forget history are damned to repeat it. Isn't that how that normally works? So as I've seen new people come in, I know that I know a lot of people don't even know who I am. I haven't really ever shared my path, my story. I'm the daughter, the oldest daughter of 3 girls that got to grow up together. My mother was a triple Sag. What does that mean? Oh my goodness. If you know anything about astrology and constellation and stars and all that, the Sagittarius is the truth seeker. And my mom, she was the epitome of the truth seeker. That woman raised us, telling us all about history, sharing all that she learned. She was a book enthusiast. I was a huge bookworm myself growing up. She would have stacks of books, reading more than 10 at a time. It just fascinated me. I always found it so impressive. She would read through history. She was the one who told me that women weren't even allowed to write books. Back in the day, women were oppressed. I mean, we couldn't own property, which was the whole reason why women's suffrage, because that's how we needed to be able to vote. Property holding also meant you had the right to vote, but a lot of people don't know that history. My mother came from a very Catholic family, as did my dad. There was that old Irish Catholic on my mom's side, and my grandmother on my dad's side, it was Portuguese and French Canadian. And what's interesting is back in those days, they didn't talk about things, you know what I mean? You don't talk about that at the dinner table. So it was deny 'em till you die, you know, all those old adages, all those things. So when my mom had us, she was like, we're not having that. We're going to talk about everything. I'm not holding back. And she used to say things like, I never want what happened to me as a child to happen to you girls. So she moved us out of Boston, Massachusetts, up to northern Maine, to a small town, which a lot of people don't realize. Small towns have their skeletons in the closet just as much as big cities. I don't know which is better sometimes. You know, like, you can't completely shield and protect your children from the world. There are certain things that they have to experience for themselves that we cannot guarantee their safety all the time. But right now, more than ever, I can see and say it's finally time for women to rise. This is our time to put things back in order, to get it right this time. For those of us who've been here, previous lives, many and pivotal times in history, you know, witch trials and all that craziness that happened in the past, because that's what happened. You know, they wanted to burn the truthers. That's what's kind of, you know, if you look around, that's what's happening. The truth cannot be hidden. It cannot be suppressed. It always rises, because truth cannot. A lie, you know, people slip up all the time. And you can sprinkle all sorts of truths in the lies and lies in the truth, but those of us who are awake, we can discern. We know, we've been through it, because we know how to tap into our body's wisdom. And that's one thing I teach, is about body awareness, mindset, that our biggest addiction is to our belief systems. And that if you aren't in touch with your body, you will be the easiest to manipulate, because we take in information through our 5 senses. And the more tuned in and tapped into your senses you are, the more intuitive, into me I see, you will be. You know, when you numb the pain, you numb the joy. So when you think about how many people with traumas in their lives have been numbing out the pain for so long, but then they're reaching for something to stimulate and wake them up to feeling, because they numbed it all out. That's what addiction is. It's constantly looking to be satiated and looking for the high, right? That's what addiction is. Instead of realizing that if you just go through the pain, it gives you resilience and it delivers the pleasure. Going through your pain delivers you to your pleasure. As crazy as that may seem, it really is true. I mean, they didn't use drugs to numb you when they had to perform surgeries. You learned breath work. You learned to bite on the leather strip, for example, right? Like, our ancestors were like badasses. And look at us pussies running around. Wussies, okay? You know? I mean, we've all been disempowered thinking that we don't have the strength within us when we should be looking at our ancestors had the answers. Here we are, twiddling our thumbs. We've been going along to get along for so damn long, we don't even know which way's up. We don't know right from wrong. And the truth is, we've deceived ourselves. We've bought into the bullshit because we can't even see through our own shit. We're so deep in our own shit, we can't see through the bullshit. Truth bombs that people don't want to hear. So I spent over 10 years in the Air Force. I worked in government contracting. I know firsthand issues with authority, how they like to take you down, discredit you, make you feel less than, try to humiliate you because you made them feel threatened. I dealt with that for many of the years of my career. And you know, it didn't kill me because this cat has more than 9 lives, and I bounced back that much more resilient. And the truth is, when you come back together in numbers, and I know we're bigger in numbers and we're stronger than ever, there ain't no more hiding, people. You're either in it to win it, or you're going to fall out with the fallout. Whew. So I have been having these conversations with people, and I'm just amazed. I really am. And I'm not a judgment person. I'm not here to point fingers. Everybody has to learn in their own way. Sometimes someone's way of learning is learning the hard way. I was one of them. I had to learn the hard way in my life. I had to go through certain experiences the hard way. And it really fucking sucked. But guess what? I learned. Isn't that how we learn? We humble ourselves to the blessings that unfold in our lives. We don't see them as personal attacks. We don't play the victimhood badge of honor card, which is playing out right now, full on in force. You know, we pick up our big girl pants, we secure them better, and we apply that. And that's what becomes wisdom. That when you have a lesson, you don't play the victim. No. You become wise because you integrate it, because you had the experience, not just the information. Wisdom is through knowledge and awareness and integration into your life. You can't have wisdom without experience. That's just something I've found in my life. People can talk a good talk, but are they walking their talks? A lot of people just want attention. And that's an old trauma response. That's an old childhood wound. They didn't get their needs met when they were younger, so we got a bunch of adults running around screaming at the top of their lungs because what they don't realize is they haven't been doing their shadow work. They're not confronting their issues. They're trying to point the fingers instead of looking at the 3 fingers pointing back at them, because the truth is, when you're pointing 1 finger out, you got 3 back at you. What was your role in this situation? We've got a bunch of adults running around trying to get their unmet childhood needs taken care of. Instead of looking in the mirror and realizing, wow, I'm the adult here now. I've got control of this. Nobody else is going to do this for me. Holding out for Big Brother to just take care and save the day. As many promises as they've made and how they've fallen short every single time. Are we seriously going to enable more of that? Know your rights. In fact, every stupid little rule, regulation, law has become a form of keep you busy, distracted, and stress. I mean, even a seatbelt in your car, you know, it may sound like it's a safety feature, but is it really? I mean, it may save some lives, but it's another imposition on your rights, your right to choose. And it's another way to extort money from you. Your blood, sweat, and tears. You may not see it as a big deal. It's just a couple bucks here or there, whatever it is. But the truth is that is enabling a system that's against you. all these little stupid things like, oh, I have to do a drug test, so I have to give them my blood or my urine. I have to give them my bodily fluids so they can use it against me. Has anybody ever questioned these things? It makes you go, that's pretty fucked up. So we voluntarily submit to the master. And in so many cases, people don't see that. But we are the most enslaved as humanity has ever been. You may think it's all voluntary, that you have a choice, but the truth is, it's incentive reward. It boils down to, what are you willing to give to get? Because you're always in the position of having to prove yourself. If you don't prove yourself, then are you worthy? And people will withhold from you what you are worthy of receiving. And those aren't the people you want to be around, nor definitely making your life choices and decisions for. Nobody deserves that. So, yeah, over 10 years, almost 20 years total in government environments, and the abuses of power are absurd. One thing I have learned, when leadership is failing, when leadership is corrupt, it trickles down. It's called the trickle-down effect. And what that basically translates to, and if any of you have ever worked in these kinds of environments, you know what I'm talking about. The fact that there's competition in the workplace, drama in the workplace. It's all about keeping you at each other's throats, when most of the times it's not personal, it's just about work. They create this unhealthy, toxic environment to keep people working against each other. Because people who work together are more powerful together. People who are competitive, working against one another, they're easier to manipulate and maintain. Chaos is their order, people. And symbolism will be their downfall. On that note, I will end this. Thank you all for the new follows. I appreciate you. Don't worry, I'll try to do as many as I can of these videos. And I will be as well I can speak. Don't worry, it'll still be there. Alright, lots of love to you all. Enjoy your evening.